was sharing with today about mentors. You're going to hear me today talk a lot about my grandfather. And I started not to put this part in my presentation. I'm like, well, this is what has made me the person that I am today, and this is what I have based my business off of as far as customer service. So he was a great influence in my life. And also, Carol Jones, who taught me how to network. I lived in Atlanta for years and around the big city, but I never learned how to network with people until I met Carol Jones. So she was a great influence, a great mentor in my life to do that as well. So, but what I wanted to start out today is my very first job that I ever had when I was 14 years old. And like I said, I started not to bring this in, but I thought it would kind of lead up to other things. And that was helping my grandfather. He ran a paper route until he was 91 years old. And when he was 85, he couldn't walk as much as he used to. So I come from a very large family, and there was 62 grandchildren. Yes, I come from a very, very large family. There was 10 siblings, and so there were 62 grandchildren total. So he went through a lot of grandchildren down through the years. I'm kind of one of the younger grandchildren. He would volunteer us to help him on his paper route. And when he volunteered you, he would feed you breakfast. He had this little country cafe, kind of like South Main Diner, and you were guaranteed breakfast. And then that was pretty much it. That was back in the day. And he taught us to work. And so when he volunteered me to help him on the paper route, I was excited because, all the other grandkids talked about how much fun it was to be out on the paper route with Grandpa. Well, he volunteered me for Sunday, okay? And nowadays newspapers are not what they were years ago, but we used to deliver the Tulsa World, which was a really, really big newspaper. And some of you here may remember the big Sunday newspapers where they had all of the supplements for all the coupons. And those ladies wanted those coupons in the paper, but we had to stuff those. Tulsa World would come down to our little town and they would drop the papers off, but we would have to stuff them. So he had a good friend that had a laundromat, so we had the key to the laundromat. We'd get there about 1 a.m. in the morning, and we would line all these newspapers up. We delivered about 1,000 of them on Sunday morning. So we would stuff all of those. But he was very meticulous in how he wanted it done. I was 14, I just wanted to get it pushed in there. But you had to open the newspaper in a certain area to put these coupon inserts in there. So he taught me even then, take care of your customers, do it right the first time. And so when we would be out delivering newspapers, everything had to be done just right. You had to he always stressed taking care of your customers. And he would say, no, this is Miss So-and-so's house. I need you to get out and take the paper to her door. She can't walk that good. So he just did little things like that along the way that he didn't have to do. You learn to throw that paper just right and get it in that certain spot. And if I missed it, I would get out of the truck and have to go and put it up at their door, because there was just certain customers that he had that he, respected their age, respected them, that there was a customer, and we had to do it right. So that kind of led me to, business. And I do come from a family where a lot of our family is entrepreneurs. So I've been around entrepreneurship all my life. And so I used to think, I want to be an entrepreneur. That would be fun. I want to work for myself. Well, and I have. Most all my life, I have been an entrepreneur. And like I said, the paper route was my first job with Grandpa. And I did that with him probably 4 or 5 years. And after about 6 months, one day, we got off the paper route and he said, you know what, you're doing a great job. I want to pay you. He gave me a $10 bill. I was so excited. But as time went on, I got where I drove him in. I made a little bit more money. But that taught me a lot about business and how to take care of customers. So down through the years, growing up as a teenager, I worked a few little odd jobs here and there. And then at 21, I decided to get married. And got married. We had 3 kids. I was just a stay-at-home mom, and one day I decided that I always loved to bake and I always loved to cook. So one day I decided to take a cake decorating course, and in the back of my mind I always wanted to work from home so that I could be there for my kids, take them to sporting events. I was the soccer mom, and I enjoyed that stage of my life, but I wanted to work from home and make a little extra money. So I decided I was going to take a cake decorating course, not with the intention of running a business doing that. Well, I took a cake decorating course, started doing cakes for my kids. People would come to the parties. You ought to sell these, your cakes are really good. I kind of made up my own recipe. I took one of my mom's recipes and one of my mother-in-law's recipes and kind of combined them and kind of made my own thing. And so kids at school, would come and their parents. So I just started baking a few cakes here and there for people. Well, not realizing that that was going to turn into a business that I did for almost 22 years. When I lived in Atlanta, and I started doing cakes, and like I said, I love to cook, so I got into catering. I did weddings, I did parties, and I really had a very successful business doing that. For years, I got in with the county, kind of like what Sherry Buchanan does now. And I did that for 22 years nearly. And I was just kind of, I enjoyed it. It was a great business opportunity. It was a great, avenue for me to be able to stay at home with the kids and make extra money as well. Started having some trouble with carpal tunnel after all those years of cake decorating. And I was just kind of there again, looking for something. I've been backtracking a minute. Everything in my life has always been, I kind of wanted to do something in the background, but I didn't really know what I wanted to do. And it seems like the Lord just always opened up an avenue for me that I never expected, and that was the way with the cake decorating business. And then 8 years ago, I began to have this is kind of leading up to my business now. I had kind of had some health issues, some things going on, and went to the doctor, and basically told me if I didn't get any better, that I had 2 years to live. 8 years ago. I'm sorry. And there again, I wasn't looking for anything, but I was looking for answers. And went to the internet, started looking around for different things, and kind of didn't really know again which direction I was, headed into. And I got a phone call one day of someone that cared about me and said, hey, I've run across this, take a look at it. So I did. And I started taking the products and got some, results, and was feeling better, kind of was getting my life back. There again, we was in a transition period. My husband had had some health issues. There again, not really knowing which direction I was going to go in. And people just started asking me. It really started with my daughter's wedding. People was coming up to me, hey, you look like you've lost some weight. I said, yeah, I've dropped about 80 pounds. And, you look good. What are you doing? So I just started sharing with a few people what I was doing, and the business just kind of evolved. And I was kind of wanting to get out of the cake decorating business. I was kind of getting burnt out with the catering and the long hours, and it's a great business. I loved it, but sometimes in life we want to try something different. So that's what I was doing, was just looking for something different. And the business just kept evolving, and then I had the opportunity to come here to Madisonville and join my brother in the business. And we were wanting to kind of get out of Atlanta with my husband's health issues, and I was looking for something that I could work from home there again. Because of his health issues, I needed to have time freedom. If I had to, do a 9 to 5, that was okay. Whatever was meant for me to do. But I was really looking for something. And while I was looking for something, the business was right here in front of me. And I was making some money doing it because I really wasn't working it. But there again, I was looking, and then one day it just hit me. What about this? You're already involved in this company? Just, go for it. So I went for it. And it is a direct sales company. Pure is. And what I wanted to share with you about it is I would have never dreamed that I would have never set out to say, hey, I want to be involved in a direct sales company. But it just kind of happened, and that's the way it was, and I was doing really well with it, so I just continued on with that. And has there been struggles? Yes, and it's been great. I've made, and am making a decent living with it, but there has been struggles as well, and I'm not going to stand here and say that there has not been any struggles, because there has. And one of the biggest struggles that I have had to overcome is, we all know, I'm sure everyone in here has heard, or someone has approached you with some kind of a direct sales company. And a lot of it is where people have not had the correct training, and there has been a bad stigma. I mean, I'm just going to be vulnerable here and be completely honest. There has been a bad stigma with a lot of direct sales companies because of the way people approach people. And there again, it's about good mentorship. It's about personal development, as Misty was talking about. This industry has taught me so much about myself, and it's taught me so much about personal development. It's taught me a lot about people and how to deal with people and how to approach people. I can't approach Karen the same way as I can approach Tim. So learning how to approach different types of personalities, learning how to talk to different people has just been, it's really, really taught me a lot. I used to think you could talk to everyone the same way. And anybody in here that has children, you know that you can't discipline or deal with each child. You have to deal with each child different. Anyway, that's been my case. I don't know about you. But if you've had more than one child, you know what I'm talking about. Every child is different, and I have 5 grandchildren. And every one of them is different. You have to learn to deal with people different. So I joined a community probably 5 years ago, and we are on a mission to show the world that all direct sales, network marketers, MLM, whatever you want to call them, that we are a group of professionals, and that we don't have to be that person that chase you down in the grocery store. Here, buy my thing, buy my thing, buy my thing. I mean, never experienced that with someone. And you that know me here, most of you were friends on Facebook. How many see me? I'm not Spammy Tammy, as we call it. I don't. That's direct sales lingo here. No, Spammy Tammy. You know her? How many of us know? How many of us know Spammy Tammy? And so when I got involved in this company, that was my biggest thing. I am not going to be him, and I'm not going to be her. And I hope that I have done a good job at doing that. Sometimes I may have missed out on sales. Sometimes I may have missed out on an opportunity with someone because I wasn't a little bit more bold. But that's okay. I have a way that I do business, and that's the way that I do it. And I don't pressure people. And I have something that everybody needs. Every home in America needs what I have, but every home in America may not want what I have. And that's good. I mean, that's fine with me. And if I talk to you about my business, which I have some in here, you know that when you see me out, I'm still going to speak to you. I'm not that type of person where I'm not going to speak to you because you didn't buy my thing. And one thing that a lot of people don't understand about direct sales is just the way that the companies choose to market. There's been a lot of misconception, and I just kind of want to clear that up a little bit, about direct sales. To me, we're no different than Tara Edwards. So a lot of you know her with Edward Jones, and she comes to mingle, and I always kind of piggyback sometimes off of her. She sits down with you and helps you reach your financial goals. I do nothing different than sit down with you and help you reach your health goals. We plan for our retirement. We plan for other things, but a lot of times we forget that the human body needs maintenance too. You need to have a plan for that as well. So that's the only difference that we do. You know, you buy insurance to protect your vehicle, to protect your home. I just have a health insurance plan that will help you protect your body. So that's basically what I do in a nutshell. I've never looked at any of my notes, but at least I had on here to refer to if I needed on there. because I think I memorized them. I looked at them so many times. So that's kind of what I do in a nutshell. Anybody have any questions?